My brother didn't visit our father for 10 long years. He didn't even send a single Christmas card or call on birthdays. But the moment Dad passed away and left the family house to me, my phone started exploding with hateful messages. Now my brother Mark is calling me a thief and a manipulator. He claims I stole his inheritance and is threatening to take me to court. My own relatives are divided. Some say I should give him half to keep the peace, while others tell me to stand my ground. Am I really the jerk for following my father's final wishes? This is a story about greed, betrayal, and a house that tore my family apart. I need your honest opinion because I'm at a breaking point. Let's start from the very beginning so you can understand why my father made such a drastic decision in his will. It all started on a rainy Tuesday 10 years ago when everything changed. When Dad got sick, my life stopped. I was the one who moved into his small house to become a full-time caregiver. For 5 years, I was changing bandages, managing medications, and holding his hand during sleepless nights. I had to quit my dream job and take a low-paying remote position just to be there for him. And where was Mark? Mark was living his best life in California. Every time I called him, crying from exhaustion, asking for just one weekend off, he had an excuse. "Sis, I'm right in the middle of a big merger." Or "the flights are too expensive this month." Meanwhile, I saw his photos on Instagram at luxury resorts and expensive dinners. He had money for vacations, but not for a plane ticket to see his dying father. Dad noticed everything. He never complained, but I saw the sadness in his eyes every time he asked if Mark had called. The funeral was a nightmare. Mark showed up in a suit that probably cost more than my car, acting like a grieving son. He didn't shed a single tear, but he was very interested in Dad's documents. 2 days later, we met with the lawyer. Mark sat there with a smug smile, probably already calculating how much he'd get from selling the house. The lawyer cleared his throat and started reading. "To my son, Mark, I leave my old fishing gear and the box of letters I wrote to him that he never answered. May they remind him of the time we didn't spend together." The silence in the room was deafening. Then the lawyer continued. "Everything else, including the house and my savings, goes to my daughter, who gave up her life to give me a peaceful end." Mark's face turned from pale to bright red in seconds. He looked like he wanted to scream. Mark didn't wait to leave the lawyer's office. He started screaming right there, accusing me of brainwashing our father in his final days. "You manipulated a sick old man," he roared, loud enough for the whole building to hear. He claimed that because Dad was on pain medication, the will was invalid. I was shaking, unable to find words, while Mark stepped into my personal space, pointing a finger at my face. He told me that if I didn't agree to sell the house and split the money 50-50, he would make my life a living hell. He gave me exactly 48 hours to decide. That night, the harassment began. He didn't just call me. He started calling our aunts, uncles, and even my boss, telling everyone that I was a greedy monster who stole a dying man's estate. My inbox was flooded with messages from relatives I hadn't seen in years, all judging me. 2 days later, Mark showed up at the house with a locksmith, trying to change the locks while I was inside. I had to call the police to get him off my porch. It was the most humiliating moment of my life, standing there while neighbors watched the cops escort my brother away. But the pressure didn't stop. My mother's sister called me, crying, saying that family is more important than bricks and mortar. She said, "Mark is in debt. He needs this money. How can you be so heartless?" But where were these relatives when I was lifting Dad out of bed alone? Where was their family spirit when I was struggling to pay for groceries? I realized that they didn't care about justice. They just wanted me to be the bigger person, so they wouldn't have to deal with Mark's drama. I was being pressured to pay for my brother's bad life choices with my father's legacy. Now, Mark has officially filed a lawsuit to contest the will. My lawyer says I will likely win, but the legal fees will eat up a huge chunk of my savings. Every time I walk through this house, I feel Dad's presence, and I know he wanted me to have this security. But part of me is exhausted. I'm tired of the late-night hate mail and the cold stares from my cousins at Sunday service. Mark sent one last text saying he'd drop the lawsuit if I just gave him $100,000. It feels like blackmail. Should I pay him just to make the nightmare end, or should I fight for what is rightfully mine until the very end? Was I the jerk for not sharing the inheritance with a brother who abandoned us when we needed him most? Please, tell me what you would do. I'm reading every single comment.